Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Certified Male Podcast. And here on this podcast, we will be addressing all topics of life as we deliver our unfiltered, unbiased 2 cents on Believe Me When I Say It, everything discussion worthy. It's your boy Drew.
And it's your boy Tati, aka Mr. Slow Stickum himself.
It's your boy Bars.
And you guessed it, it's your boy Jay, aka Mr. Light Skin Keys Sweat.
Today's topic is sure to have you talking back to your phone, your headphones, your laptop, whatever it is you tune into on Thursdays and listen. You definitely gonna be talking back to it today.
So I was in school one night having a conversation with a group of proud women. The topic that came about was, why do black men have this stigma that black women are less submissive than the other races?
How did your conversation go? I want to know like what was said or how did that come about?
So we was speaking or whatever about how the other races are so submissive, quote unquote, so submissive, but how they was explaining it to me was like, oh, we have to be independent because our black males not leading the household, or would they grew up in a trauma household to where they, you know, they have to take the lead because we're not stepping up to the plate. And I was like, that's just like a choice of men that you pick. You can't just put that on a black male figure because he's not there. I feel like your choices in men is what may lead you to be so independent.
I agree with that. Simply for the fact that all men wasn't raised the same, and there's a lot of different factors that comes in, plays a good part in how a man treats his woman and how a woman reacts to a male.
Or leadership?
Some men is like so relaxed, like they're comfortable in their position and so complacent with a woman doing certain things, and they don't really see an urgency to move and to be active in making a woman comfortable enough so she can be submissive.
I agree, but I think honestly, I think on that first part of what the lady said, they're right. They gotta be a little strong because men was raised up in certain trauma homes or raised a certain way, but they was raised sometimes in the same exact situation, same environment. So like their mind also was also taught to be strong and
Yeah.
and uphold a lot more stuff that they expected. You always hear, black is black, woman, male, we go through challenges, period, that make you want to, step up, make you have to be a little more stronger than you would expect to be or more than a woman want to be. And it shouldn't be like that. I don't think it's because of the man. I just feel like, the way we was raised, the way they was raised also, like you just get this mindset that you have to be strong, and because you grew up with that mindset, it takes you time to like, let your guard down. It takes you a lot more time than it would take another race to let your guard down or just be so comfortable because you've seen stuff, you've heard stuff. It's still currently going on, so your mind is trained a certain way. So I think the ladies was right on that first part, but I don't think it should be like that the whole way you're with the man. Like if you've been with a man for about 5 years, 10 years, you ain't got to be strong no more unless that's how y'all household rocking. If that's how people do what works for them. If that's what works for y'all, then yeah. But if you feel like you're forced doing it, I don't think you should have to do that. If you get what I'm saying.
For me, I agree with y'all to a certain extent, but I feel like black women, black men don't have a problem with being submissive to each other. I think majority of the people who have an issue with being submissive to each other is because they picking the wrong person to be submissive with. They that's why they not. But everybody I know who's in a healthy relationship, whatever, they don't have no problem doing for each other, being submissive for each other. So I think when you have that problem with submissive when you accepting something that you're not supposed to be accepting for, but for whatever reason you accepting it. For example, say for instance, a woman accepting this dude that ain't doing that for, ain't doing just to be in a relationship type deal. That's when you're gonna say, oh, oh, she ain't submissive to him and she independent, blah blah blah. But it's just that he don't make her feel comfortable enough, to do those things that, quote unquote, what a woman's supposed to do.
Yeah, oftentimes I see people posting things like, "We don't have a problem being submissive. It's just you got to be something to submit to," and
Right.
that's something that you just
Yeah.
touched on. So yeah,
It's,
I agree with
I
that.
think sometimes dudes, I'm gonna just speak from the dude perspective, that some of these dudes, you don't deserve nobody to be submitting to you. In the same, same go for women. But as a, from the dude
Uh-huh.
perspective, nigga, you ain't doing what you supposed to do. So how can you expect, this woman to trust you in your decisions and all this stuff? Like, it don't make no sense for you to be out here not making her feel like you can make a sound decision, but then in return expect her to put her life in your hands. That don't make sense.
We could take it as further as the upbringing. Like I was telling them, like y'all probably could have been so independent because of your upbringing, like your childhood, your household. Your mother may be like, oh, your mother or your older sisters may be telling you, oh, we don't need a nigga, we don't need none of that. Oh, we independent, we could do all bad by ourselves. But to raise to have that one that you would be submissive to is to see it in your upbringing. What I'm trying to say is like, how you gonna be how you gonna say that you want to be submissive to someone if you never had it around you? Like if your mother had never
That's
been with
true.
with your father,
I don't agree with
you,
that.
you don't yeah, you don't know how to be submissive if you never experience it.
I don't agree with that. Me personally, I don't think you need to see it for it to happen. I think it fall in line. It's like anything else. Like, you trust somebody enough, you gonna, allow them to make it. It could be an important decision on your life, and you just allow them to make it with no problem. I think it's how comfortable that person make you feel. Like, yeah, you can teach it to a certain extent, but I think it's more so just letting nature take its course. It's on you. You only gonna do stuff like, you only gonna allow somebody to control aspects of your life when you trust them and confident in,
Yeah, I
in
agree with
what
that.
the decision making is, or confident in how they're gonna protect you, and confident in these things. It's just not with that do you have to teach that. That I think that's just a part of human nature, kind of like breathing. You just know how to breathe. It's just something that is there. It's automatic knowledge, and I think that's the same with being submissive. Like, as a man being submissive, you know when you walking down the street, a part a part of submission is make sure your girl is on the inside or you on the outside, or if something happen, you cover her, and you take the bullet or whatever. You take whatever coming to y'all. You supposed to be the first one to get hit, pretty much, type deal. So that's a part of submission that nobody ain't got to tell you that. That's just something that you do because it's nature, human nature. Like,
Uh, Here's why I agree with what Tati was saying, because I feel like we human. You see things when you see
Yes,
things and you're so used to it, so used to seeing it,
you
you're
get
gonna
accustomed.
adapt to that. You get accustomed and you get accustomed to it, and you're gonna adapt to it. Rather you want to admit it or not, you're gonna adapt to it. So like, if you're in a household and you see your old boy mistreating your mom, probably abusing her, something like that, that it's gonna make you look at men a different way. It's gonna make you look at men a different way. It's As a man, it's gonna make you treat women a different way, not in no bad way. It's gonna be like, bro, like you seen what your mom went through. You're not gonna want to put nobody through that. That's gonna make you want to change, and that's a result of what you've seen. So I feel like that happens to women too. Like, a result of what you see growing up affects how you grow. Like, yeah, it's trust, but if you never seen your mom trust somebody, how you gonna know how to trust? How you gonna know when to trust? You feel me? So it's like what you see growing up, because you're human, you're just naturally just gonna take that in the depth. You're not gonna ignore that, especially as a kid. You're not just gonna ignore that and say, okay, mine's just gonna be completely different. Nah, you learn things. You see your dad playing women all the time. You're gonna be like, okay, now you know what kind of dudes not to look for. You see what kind of flags you get out of dudes. Your dad teach that to you. You see your mom in the dating world, and she's dating all these dudes, probably bringing the dude home, and you peeping these guys. Now you like, he's not like daddy, or he's not like this, like you don't like him. You see certain things, bro, and that affects your mind. It affects the way you project yourself onto people because of how you seen it. And I feel like because you're human, it's just naturally gonna come to
That's
you.
what.
It's just naturally gonna be like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I agree with. That's why I say it's just natural because you see those things and you say, okay, well, my old girl, she got all these boyfriends, whatever, and they treating her wrong. I'm gonna make sure that I don't get nobody that treat me wrong. In return, in theory, it's supposed to be, you don't get nobody that treats you wrong. You make sure that you're picking the right ones. For whatever reason, there's people out here that continue to pick what I think is the same person with a different face. They just pick the same person with a different face. Like, for example, you're a girl to date a football player. Let's say a starting quarterback, and they'll date the starting quarterback. He got all these women that he deal with. Then she'll say, "Oh, this ain't working out." He keep cheating. Instead of you move from the starting quarterback, and then you'll go to the point guard on the basketball team. It's just like it's the same person. It's just a different face. Instead of picking somebody different, meaning instead of football, deal with somebody that that's in calculus or whatever, just somebody that's different than the same person with a different face. They got the same personality, just his name John now or her name Sarah now.
Like Drew was saying with the way what they see, how they get taught when they was growing up. When I was growing up, I seen my mom having those conversations with my sister, like uh, about what they see, how they making them happy. So like once my sister see like, okay, this dude make my mom happy, doing this, doing that, it attracts them to those type of men that uh, do those type of things to make them feel like, okay, mommy was like this when he did this, so maybe I could be like this when my man do this, right? But again, it's those things that you see that has to play a factor in you being submissive or us being submissive. Like when Vara said about the sidewalk thing, like
Yeah.
when we walk in, the men are supposed to be on the outside. How am I supposed to know that if I was never taught that? I never seen it. So like
I
how
got
do
taught that late.
how do I know that? But on my end, I was taught that early, so I know that. But what about the people who don't know
I
that?
guess it's certain stuff that I think is you just naturally know. You protect women and children first, and that's in it's with animals, it's with everything in this world. There's a few outliers, but for the most part, it's natural for a random man to try to protect a random woman. It's certain stuff is natural. A woman to submit to a man when she feel comfortable submitting to that man. To me, I just think it's natural. If that man make her feel comfortable enough, then she'll do that with no issue.
It's natural, but like me personally, like I ain't see my like growing up as a kid, I ain't see my old boy be romantic like the way we are now with our ladies. My old boy wasn't doing that. Like I didn't see him taking my mama on dates and doing this and that, outside the box kind of stuff. Like it was just natural love. They had love, but it wasn't what we was doing. So I didn't see a lot of this stuff like the sidewalk thing. I learned that late because yeah, we're gonna naturally protect the woman. Like let's say I'm walking on the left side. If something was to happen, I'm quick to put my hands in front, like get in protective mode. But I was never taught the part where, okay, you stay on that right side. That's for more than just something dangerous happen or something like that. It's just something you do, it's just naturally taught to you. And I wasn't taught that. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who really wasn't taught that. But that goes back to what you see, what you see growing up. And like on the submissive part with the different races, I'm gonna be real. You be in a house, uh, say you're a white woman, you would see your dad and your mom treat each other however. Let's say your dad's a cheater. This is a white family. Your dad's a cheater. You might see your mom get mad. She might cry, she might sob. We talking realistic stuff. She might cry, she might sob, but and might get a divorce, but that stuff might go down quietly. In a black household, that happens, that woman is exploding. That house, that house going off. You feel me? So you see that. So black women see that differently. White women see that differently. White women seeing that they mom probably just, okay, she cried and she this and that, and they call it weak. They call it being weak. I don't know a nicer way to put it. Probably lenient or whatever, but a lot of people call it weak. They would see that. The white woman would see their mom go back to that and try to build and stick with that, and they stick through all kinds of shit. You know, you will see guys run over them all the time, or sometimes they won't. Whereas in the black household, the mom not allowing that. She leaving. She taking the kids. She leaving. She gonna make it a scene. Like you start like you put her out there. She feel embarrassed. She gonna make a scene. Now she gonna embarrass you. You know, it's like, and that's what the black woman sees growing up. So you see two different things, and then they start talking about the masculine energy. They will say masculine energy, and it comes from that, like seeing what you see growing up and certain situations that happen. That's where all that's where all that come from. So you always stuck in that masculine energy, thinking, okay, you know, this could be another situation, or this how I handled it last time when I seen it, or this how my mom handled it last time, and that ain't how it's supposed to go. Cause you with that guy, that's a different dude. You work out that your way. You know, you do what works for you. You can't go off some bad energy that you brought back from your past, and you know, call it you have to stay in that energy, that masculine energy.
Yeah, with that, I there was multiple times where I attempted to help a woman, and she said, "No, I got it." Like given that when like that energy from the beginning, like I was taught to always help a woman when she's struggling, when she need help, or whatever, and like if they lift something heavy, even if they got it, take it from them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a man. I can carry without struggling. But so when I hear that, it's like to me in the back of my head is like to me it's like that she's a strong person, like she's very independent, blah blah blah. But sometimes that scares um, a
Mm-hmm.
male. That scares a man. Having a strong black woman, that scares us because we're like because there's two alphas in the house.
Exactly.
Some men can't really operate like that when it's two alphas in the house, and they're what they say is not always. It's not always okay. It's always something giving back. There's always some dialogue about it, and some men just don't
Well, I'm gonna
go right
say
with
for
that.
me, I believe I have an alpha quote unquote woman, um, or whatever you want to call it, right? But well, my wife, it I guess it's me. I don't know if it's me or what, or you know how I treat her, or whatever. But my wife is certain stuff that she just not gonna do. She come home with the grocery or whatever. She would get out the car, come in the house, and just assume that I'm gonna get the stuff because that's how I make her feel. You know, she can submit, or if I tell her to do something or ask her to do something, whatever, she just do it with no issue. Like I don't know if y'all experience that, but that's what I mean by you make her feel comfortable enough to submit, and she'll submit pretty much. Like certain stuff you don't have to worry about, like all that what you talking about, Drew, with the arguing and all that stuff. Sometimes they got a voice too. They can voice their opinion. They don't have to be treated a certain way. But yeah, it comes to a point where it's masculine energy. I think the masculine energy start when they start to try to fight and all that stuff. But the arguing, that's gonna happen. They gonna voice their opinion just because some women don't, some women do. It is what it is. You can't say that's they not submissive just because they voice their opinion.
No, that's true. So, but Varus, how if you know, how did your wife grow up? Did she see things like being submissive, or was she on the other side of that?
Their father passed early, and you know, they had their granddad and everything, and their granddad, I mean, the grandma and granddad was they had their relationship been married for I think 60 something years, something like that. So I guess they had some type of some type of viewpoint, but at the same time, 60 years ago is not like today. You can't really
which is true.
use, well, you can to a certain extent, but 60 years ago, marriage is not like today. If we all can agree, but
Yeah.
a lot of times, from what I think back then, a lot of people who was married and they was just married. They wasn't really married. They yeah, they had years together, but they been years separate. Like, they, not saying my wife's grandparents, but just overall back in the days, it seemed like they was married, yes, but they wasn't at the same time. They was just together for 60 years. But now it comes to like I was saying, but she grew up with some type of, I guess some type of seeing it. Yeah,
Influence.
some type of influence, just seeing her grandparents together. But
Yeah.
at the same time, when we did get together, she had her things where, she would try to take care of that. I felt like I was supposed to take care of it. You know, that's how I go. But eventually, within a year or two or whatever, she start to fall back. Like, it's certain stuff that she just not gonna do. And the same go for my mom and my dad. They the same thing, where it's certain stuff. Yeah, it's certain stuff that my mama just not gonna do. It's just how it is.
All right. And going back to that, like that alpha part, I think what Jalen was saying, like when you say you got an alpha woman, I feel like what Jalen was saying was, let's say with that grocery situation, you say your old lady would, she'll just park the car, get in the house, and you gonna go get that. She'll assume you get that. What Jalen was saying was, it's some who won't even give you the chance to do that. Like, she'll come home, yeah, that car gonna park, but then you see her walking in with like 10 bags. And you're like, dang, okay, let me help you. Damn, why you ain't let me help you? Why you ain't leave this? Let me get it, da. And she just, oh, it's okay, I got it. Or it's this and that. Like, and it would throw some men off. Cause it's like, okay,
True.
she's just always gonna be in this mindset, this strong alpha mindset. Like, nah, let me be the man. Let me do this for you. Most men want to be in a situation that you in Varus, where she like, okay, I'm gonna let you be the man. Like, yeah, let me be the man for you. Let me do that. I don't want to see you walking in with 10 bags. I'm gonna do that. I want to do
The
that.
question is, did you set that standard? Because for me, I set that standard for it. And another example, doors. My wife don't touch doors. We would stand outside. She was just standing at the door, won't touch the door at all. And you can ask any one of her friends, whatever, she will not touch the door until I open the door. It's just, you got to set that standard. Yeah, you set
Yeah.
that
But
standard,
my old
Yeah.
lady,
and that's
sometimes
it.
I be having to grab her, like, hey, no, she
Yeah.
be in
I'll
front.
big
She
on
be she
that.
be walking with a purpose. It's
I don't
different,
have to
bruh.
do that.
She be walking with a purpose. I be like, hey, slow down. Let me get the door for you. I gotta remind her, like, it's just naturally in her, like, she just gonna do it. Like, I gotta remind, even though I always do it, I always open the doors. Always. She just always like got that mindset, like, oh, I'm gonna do it. And I just gotta remind her. When I do remind her though, she like, oh, thank you, the regular stuff. It's like she forgot. But some women, because they have that mindset, that alpha mindset that he talking about, they're just naturally trained to want to do stuff like, yeah, I got it, or I'm just gonna do this or do that. Like, they don't want to inconvenience you, not knowing that because it's them, it's never an inconvenience. So I have no problem doing this at no time. But like you said, you got to set that standard also. But sometimes you set that standard, and because they're so trained, it's like a habit now. They're not just gonna break that right away. It's gonna take them time to break that. In the beginning of the episode, I was like 5 to 10 years. Like, sometimes it take them time to break out of that habit. Sometimes it take them time.
It's not always something of the nature where, say for instance, like they seen their mother, whatever, submit, and then they got treated wrong when they submitted. So in turn, they don't want to submit because they don't want any of that. They got like PTSD. Like, my mama submitted, my parent or guardian submitted during this time, and she got cheated on, she got treated bad, all this other stuff in it. So now they're trying to make sure, even though they feel away for you, they want to be strong on their own because they don't want you to think, oh, I'm submitting to you so you can do all this kind of stuff that my mom went through. So it's like an experience type of thing.
To me, it's how comfortable you make the other person on both sides, woman and man, that's gonna make them submit. For just a simple fact, when I come to my wife and say this or that, she take that into account, and make whatever adjustments we gotta make, and the same thing go for her. It's just if that's not happening for people, when you come to your person and say, "Hey, when you with me, don't touch no doors," she not thinking about that at all time. Making sure that that's a point that she's making to how you call it, make you feel like she care or whatever. If that's a point for you, then it should be a point for her, and she should in return make sure that she doing those things that that you said that you want done or whatever.
I feel like all that stuff, like it's way more easier said than done for most people because of like I said, habits. When you grow up watching it, you so used to it. It not natural doesn't come to you. Like stuff like that, natural does not come to you. Even though somebody could be doing this 100 times a day, opening the door for you 100 times a day, and then you still like, you would still go to a door and still try to open it because it's just you just naturally used to that. You grew up like that. It's a habit. You was raised a certain way. It was a habit. So like you got to break out of
Mhm.
it. So I feel like it just take time. I feel like eventually everybody should do it. Every woman breaks out of that shell, that habit, but it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, but you got to also understand that some of the women just it's just hard for them to submit. Like even though they want to, it's just hard for them to do it.
Literally, it's just hard for them to do it. Some of them don't want to, but that's exactly why they end up assuming that that's why most men go after white women after leaving a black woman. Sometimes that man leave you and go to another black woman
True.
because she was more submissive. I don't think it's like a stigma like they go to the white woman because they was like, as a black man, if you in a relationship and you see certain things and it just didn't end well for y'all, and this woman, white, black, Latino, whatever, she shows you something, she just shows you a little bit of what you was looking for in your last relationship, it's gonna feel like she showed you a lot because maybe that was all you wanted. So now you like over there with
Hmm.
this one because she showed you that, and it's like it wasn't it wasn't weak. It was just she was ready. She was ready to let her guard down. Everybody don't be ready to let their guard down. I don't think it's a stigma like, oh, they go after white women because they're weak. It's like it's just everybody has a time. She was ready, you wasn't. I feel like yeah, you one day you're gonna let your guard down. Maybe it might not be for me, but you're
Hmm.
gonna let your guard down eventually. That time gonna come and you're like, you know what, man, I'm 35, no kids, single. Maybe I am too rough. You're gonna let that guard down.
Yeah. So it's not. I don't think it's black women that's less submissive. I just think it's the men that they dealing with that make them less submissive type deal. I don't think. I just think they need to find the right man that make them submit to them. That's all. That make them feel comfortable enough to submit. I don't think it got nothing to do with their race. Got nothing to do with their aggressiveness. Got nothing to do with none of that. At the end of the day, there's black women out here that's strong. That's whatever, and they submit to men all the time. Like my wife is one arm, my mom is one arm, you know, my grandma was one arm when my granddaddy was alive. It's women, it's black women out here that do it with no problem. It's just the man that come across, do he deserve that? Is the question.
Sometimes that don't even matter, bruh.
No, I don't believe that.
I'm gonna be real
I
with
don't
you.
believe that.
No, it's not. It sound easy because you, like I said, in the beginning, what you seen
No,
that,
this is my
but
stepdad.
it's
That's what I'm
literally a
talking about.
world out
This is my
here.
stepdad.
Yeah, what you seen, not even just in your
Yeah.
household. I'm talking about what you see now. Like you said, your wife, your her mom, like what you see. But it's literally a world out here where people like they just can't. They just can't. They just don't know how to.
If you can't, that's just because you can't completely trust this person. You got something going on with you and this person that y'all ain't clicking completely to where you can just submit with no problem. That's what I think it is.
Speaking like he
Yeah.
said, Drew, that's what he think. He ain't saying like that's what the world is, but that's
But
what
I'm
he
just
think.
saying that's what it is. That's what it seemed like to me. Where it's just they trying to force something with somebody who they don't completely trust, respect, whatever it may be. They trying to force it and trying to see where it can go and see if that can come eventually. When If it do it, do it. If it don't, it don't. But you can't say that they less submissive because it don't happen. It's just that
Nah,
you ain't get them to that point the way they submit to you. That's all.
I never said. For me, it was a time thing. Like it just probably wasn't your time. I feel like everybody just goes off a certain time. It's probably not your time to start trusting him. Like he probably showed you, like, yeah, he could do so much, but you still like it's just not your time to submit. You still don't want to like not even submit. You just don't want to let that guard down. You just have a guard up. I don't even feel like it's just submitting. I feel like they don't want to hear that word submit. I feel like just letting your guard down. And then if you got two people who grew up in households where, they seen things differently, how y'all gonna teach it to each other? Y'all
Mm-hmm.
both,
Hmm.
it's two blind people leading each other. So y'all all learn while you're with each other. You learn, she learning. Like it's a process. It takes time. I feel like not everybody is just like most people are just they just naturally got it, or it came to them a little faster. But for a lot of
True.
people, they don't even know how to. So now they starting that from zero, trying to teach each other. I'm trying to teach myself while teaching you. So it takes a little more time and a little more of a challenge. But eventually, if you committed to that person and you and that person really want to be together, y'all gonna figure it out.
Let's all go back to timing.
Not even just black women, just women in general, women, males, anything.
That's pretty much what I'm saying. Like you gotta make her feel comfortable enough to submit to you. That's all a part of making her feel comfortable. You doing the things that she needs you to do, and she doing the things that you need her to do to make y'all both comfortable to submit to each other.
I can speak on that personally because on opposite of what you're talking about, Vars, I did everything.
To you or to her?
This was communicated to me that I did everything to make them comfortable and feel submissive, but it just stinked in their path that they
Yeah,
couldn't
that's
get
good.
past, which was dawned upon me. So now, even though I'm doing what I need to do to make her comfortable, make her feel submissive, and doing everything that I was taught on how it goes, it wasn't in her to submit because of things that happened in her past.
Trauma's real.
And that I can speak on both sides. And then on the race thing, I went to a predominantly white institution, and the black people that was in the black males in my school, they started off dating the African American women, the black women, and then they switched over to the white race, to another race, simply because they feel like our women give too much lip when the white women just submit off rip.
I was just gonna say I don't know. I don't. I guess I don't know, man. Cause I know I got a lot of strong women around me, and they listen to the men who they have no problem with it. The men that make them feel comfortable, they gonna listen to without a shadow of a doubt. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you can't just cause she don't listen to you, don't make her less submissive or don't make her lippy. Don't no. She got an opinion and that's her opinion or whatever. I ain't saying that it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like for me, if I say something, my wife may give her opinion or whatever. If she said an opinion, I feel like that. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, we can go that route and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's not being lippy. That's not. If I say we need to paint the room blue, and she say, I think blue gonna make the room look small, and I say, nah, I'm gonna paint it blue anyway. That's disregarding her feeling. Like she got no opinion.
Yeah, that's just this is having an opinion. You
Like,
got you. I
it's
feel like you got
and
to allow them to have an opinion.
just because they got no opinion don't mean that they lippy or got a problem with everything. No,
They can't
they
be
got no
heard.
opinion. What the heck? Like they humans too. You don't just submissive is not just shut up and listen to what I say. Submissive is we
Hmm.
in this together. You do stuff for me, I do stuff for you, and we we make a relationship out of it type like
There's a such thing as healthy dialogue.
right. I think people think submissive is shut up and I make the rules. I wear the pants and blah blah blah. No, bro, that's not submissive. That's not her being
No,
submissive. That's her being. I don't know. I just think that you don't just because she got something to say back or whatever. That's her just having an opinion.
I feel like the lip part. I feel like what they really want to say. I don't think it's lip. I feel like that's. I don't like that word. I don't like how they put that. I feel like what they were saying was with white women, not even just white women, just whatever. They are. you don't have to prove yourself. It's like you're already like trusted. You don't have to prove yourself, and eventually you show them as you go. Like, okay, I was worth it. Whereas with black women, this is what Jalen School was saying. Whereas black women, you have to prove yourself. I got to show you first. I got to take you out of that shell. Whereas the other people may come to you out of that shell already, looking for you to just take that step. I think that's what they were saying. I don't think it's a lip thing. I think it's just proving. Like my worth is already proven on one side compared to I have to prove it on this
Why
side.
would you want your girl to just fall in line? Like everything you say, she just say okay.
No, not fall in line. See, that goes back to what you were saying, but it's not just shut up and listen. It's not fall in line. It's not even falling in line. It's just like allowing you
To be
to
you.
just be a man. Exactly. Just allowing you to be you and be a man and not having to feel like you walking on eggshells trying to prove that you can do this. I don't not what you just said just now.
So do y'all think we have the word submissive, uh the meaning wrong? Like it's two different meanings for each gender?
By the person.
Because like their submissive may be like, oh, he's not doing certain things that meet their little list, whatever that may be, that may will make her submissive to you. We may not be touching everything on her list to make her submissive.
Submissive is selective to the person. So like submissive to me is not submissive to you. It's not submissive to Drew or Javaris. But you gotta put that out there so they know like what your definition of submissive is, or put out the actions. Okay, like this is what I like when you do that. That's submissive to me, or this submissive to me. Because for me, submissive is like I say something, we have a conversation about it, and depending on the conversation, it
Oh,
goes my
yeah.
way or your way, or we meet in the middle.
Yeah, as a leader, you supposed to have your camp supposed to say, "Hey, you the leader, but I'm in your camp. We probably need to make a left right here instead of this right, because this might be a little easier path than what you talking about." And that's not being
Yeah.
lippy. That's not your girl trying to undermine you. That's not nothing. That's just her saying, "Hey, I got this opinion too. Can't we could possibly go this route? You think this smart, or we can find some way to meet in the middle where we go. Don't make the complete left. We just go around a little corner a little bit. Like
She might not be comfortable with your choice. You got like she like, oh, I don't feel safe going that way. She might be right, and that's allowing somebody to be
right. And
themselves.
I think that's what black women do, and they get labeled as this unsubmissive. No, they just got no opinion. Just because these white women don't have no opinion, or they just go with the flow. That's just what they do. Black women, they got no opinion too, and you know, they they got no opinion, and that's not less submissive.
They like to
That's
be
just
heard.
they want to be heard too, and I don't see no problem with that. I don't mind my wife telling
Yeah.
me, "Hey, you said this, but I think we should go this route." And sometimes I think it's a good idea. Sometimes it's not to me, and just that's just a part of the relationship. That's just
It, even if it's a bad idea. So like you said, she said make that left. You said make that right. She said make the left. Or baby, we gonna make this left, baby. Just so
yeah,
you make the left, it's a cul-de-sac.
right,
Go back to the drawing board.
Because as humans, you make bad ideas. You make bad decisions, bad ideas too. So you human. You gotta you gonna make bad ideas. She gonna make bad ideas. It don't matter. Y'all both gotta have an opinion. As long as y'all both working it out together, and you allowing her to do this, and she's allowing you to do that.
yeah,
I feel like that's what it is. Like submissive to me, I feel like it's allowing that person to be comfortable in their own person. Like allow them to be themselves. Like like why I gotta shut up if I don't like this, or why I gotta shut up if I don't like how you take hour long showers, or like why she gotta be comfortable if she don't like how you drive the car crazy and stuff like that, or drive like a maniac. You gotta allow that person to be comfortable in their person.
What can we do as males on our side to make her feel more comfortable to be submissive?
I would say we can, like, if we know that we get off earlier from the job than her, why not run her a bath sometimes, or start cooking the meal if you know how to cook. If not, if you have kids, you know, help them with the homework. Like she normally what the things that she normally do. Why won't you just step in and do the things that she do if she's not there at the time? That could be part of the things that can help with her being more submissive to you. Just showing her that that she's not alone.
I definitely agree with that. Mine would be probably best way to sum it up is when it comes to I'm gonna say I ain't even gonna say women. I'm gonna say my wife is making sure I'm dependable, making sure that anything that happens, she can depend on me to, make her either feel protected,
Mm.
comfort, whatever, to make sure I'm dependable at all times. But any situation, whether it's bad, good,
That's
indifferent,
major.
she can depend on me to have something to bring to the table with any situation. Like that, I'm always dependable. Yeah,
Yeah, that's top one for me. That's
and
top one for me.
that's the way that when you show a woman that to me, or I'm gonna say my wife, I ain't gonna put it on all women. Or when I show my wife that I'm dependable, and she have no problem with shit, closing her eyes, crossing the street with me, like, and
Yeah.
For me, I would say like mine's different. I would say learning strengths and weaknesses with each other, like and knowing how to split the responsibility. Like for example, if you strong in this area, like let's say you strong in cooking, you're a good cook or something. Ain't no, you go ahead and cook. Go ahead, take the stand, and you go ahead and cook. If she's strong in cooking, let her cook. Just knowing strengths and weaknesses. It's no like she has to do this or she has to do that. Learning strengths and weaknesses to allow her to lead in her strengths sometimes. So she know like you got an opinion, you have a choice, and her allowing you to lead in your strengths sometimes. Like, and then in the weaknesses, learn how to turn those weaknesses into strengths. So that would be what I'd take away. Just learn your strengths and weaknesses, and allow each other to lead in those strengths and weaknesses, because you don't know it all and she don't know it
right,
all.
and yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that.
that's what it is. Like that's what I was saying with that whole, you make her feel like she can submit to you by saying, "Hey, yeah, I'm the leader of this relationship or whatever. I'm the leader of the household, but I understand right now in this field, I don't really know this field that well. You take the role, like you take over on this one, because you might know this a little better, whatever. Like you gotta be able to do that stuff as as a man, be able to hand that stuff over when you can't, you either can't handle it or you don't know how to handle it. That's why you got your significant other.
Yeah, and so to wrap it up, mine would be just get rid of the gender roles.
For sure.
For sure.
It's pretty much what y'all said. I just wrapped it up. Get rid of gender roles. Most people, like I was watching a video. These people been married for like 70 something years. She couldn't cook when he first met her, but he was the cook. So like, why would I let you cook and ruin the food when that's something I can do? Like, why would I let you clean up all the time when I got hands and feet and I can move just like that? So once we get rid of those gender roles and what we expect as humans, and once we get rid of those, is where we good.
I don't believe, like you say, Jalen. I don't really believe in gender roles. I do think that there's some things men supposed to do, women supposed to do. But as far as the whole household, only women clean up and only women take care of the kids. Only
Mm-hmm.
no, right? We both in this together. We both gonna do this together. If I know you've been at work and I've been at work and you just so happen to come home and go to sleep, bro, I'm not finna just leave the dishes in the sink because you tired. And no, that don't make sense. That's stupid.
That's it. Get rid of them gender roles. I think that's what it is right there. We got gender roles. We was raised around gender roles, and other people. I feel like that's exactly what it is. Gender roles
Raw.
Uncut.
and authentic.
It's your boy Jay.
And it's your boy Tati.
This your boy Var.
And it's your boy Drew.
Your mail has been delivered.